What is up, guys? James here from the Light of Riga YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be doing a reading for all my Libra sun sign friends. If you're born between the dates of September 23rd and October 22nd, then you are a Libra sun sign, and this video is for you. October is here, we're halfway through, it's time to get into the spirit of things. That's what we're doing today. We're getting into the spirit of October, which means Halloween, which means Samhain, and we're using an idea brought to me by Atypical Tarot. He's got a fantastic YouTube channel where he mixes tarot and spirituality and metaphysics and science all together, creating a very unique channel. I hope you guys will go check out his channel. I'll put a link to it in the description box below. So his idea was for me to use a bunch of my darker decks this October to do some readings, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be diving into blockages. We all have blockages, okay? These are things that are in our way from advancement. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about 3 different blockages and use 3 different tarot decks. The first deck we're going to use is the Dark Grimoire Tarot. We're going to use the Omega Land Tarot. And we're going to use the Mortem Oraculum. All 3 are very dark. And one thing I do want to say about this reading before we start is that this is a tough one, okay? I did this reading for myself. It was very tough to hear. But I want to encourage you to look at it this way. It's a good thing. The more depressed or sad or uncomfortable you feel during this reading, the more that we're striking a nerve. And if we can pinpoint what you need to be moving away from, then you know exactly which direction you want to be heading in. So this is a positive thing. This is a growth thing, okay? So let's get into it. The first card we're going to look at is this one, and it represents the blockages you may have of the mind, mental blockages. For my Libra sun sign friends, we've got the 9 of Wands. The feeling I'm getting from this card is that I think there's some thoughts. We're talking about the mind now, the ego. I think there's some thoughts of inadequacy. Not realizing your true power and potential, not wanting to admit to yourself that you are in complete control. You know, if we deny the fact that we're creating everything in our reality, it's easier to blame other things. It's easier to say, oh, you know, I got fired because my boss didn't like me, or, you know, just it's easier to make excuses. And I think part of coming into your personal power, part of the healing process, is taking responsibility for everything you've created in your life. And I think the mental blockage that you have here is that you're not totally realizing your power because your ego mind doesn't want to, you know, admit responsibility for all the problems, for all the setbacks. I think the ego mind is like, not my fault, right? I'm just creating fear and anxiety and worry, okay? That has nothing to do with the reality I created, right? That's the ego mind trying to confuse you, I think. And so I think a blockage that you have here is not stepping into your personal power because of what it may mean. I think it may mean that you have to take responsibility for your life to a greater degree. Alright, so I do want to remind you that this is a general reading as well. So not everything is meant to apply to everybody. Okay, so figure out what this image means for you. If that doesn't resonate, this is quite a bizarre image. So we'll move on to this next card, which represents blockages of the body. What blockages you may have in the physical realm. Not necessarily your physical body, but just in the physical world. And we've got another 9. This one's the 9 of Swords. The feeling I'm getting here is kind of like fatigue. Just being sick of it all, just being tired of it all, just having had enough. And I think what this is really meaning is that as far as you navigating through this physical world, I think maybe your past failures, maybe your ego mind, maybe just your energetic levels in general are kind of just saying, oh, I've had enough. I want to rest. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just too much. And I think that mentality is kind of blocking you. not necessarily a mentality, but that kind of energy is blocking you from making advancements in the physical world. Obviously, if you feel like you've had enough, if you feel like you're in over your head, then you're going to be less able to put action into the world, because you just don't, you don't feel like you're going to get the results that you hoped for. You don't feel like things are going to work out for you. There's going to be so much backlash and obstacles and problems and blah, blah, blah. So I think that's a blockage. I think that's kind of a mentality. I think the ego mind is influencing here. We've got a 9 of Swords, and so I see the ego mind saying, if you really put all that energy into starting that business that you want to start, it's probably not going to work out. You're going to waste a bunch of your investment money. You're going to waste your time. People aren't going to resonate with it. You're going to go bankrupt, and that might prevent you from putting in action towards something that your soul truly wants, which is you to start a creative business. That's just an example, okay? This could pertain in a wide variety of different ways, but that's just a quick example of how your kind of mentality or your energy of fatigue is kind of stopping you from advancement. So I think the way forward is to think more positively. I think you need to think more positively about the physical world. If you think that everything's going to work out, and if you know everything's going to work out, and you feel like everything's going to work out, everything is going to work out. Okay? There's not that there's not going to be problems, but you're gonna be in the right position to tackle those problems. Make sense? I don't know. We'll see. We'll go on to this card. This is when things get a little more intense. Not only because this deck was painted in human blood, but because now we're talking about the soul. Blockages to your soul. And we have the wolf with instinct. I think the blockage here is you're not listening to your higher guidance as much as you should be. The feeling I'm getting from this reading so far is that you're listening more to your mind, your ego. But the blockage to your soul here is not listening to the intuition, not connecting to the higher self, not speaking with your guides enough. Some of you do that a lot, others probably not at all. But there can always be more. Okay, you can always be in more contact with the higher realms, with your intuition, with your gut instinct. As we see this wolf here, a wolf is connected with his gut instinct. He doesn't question it. He just goes with his gut, and that information is divine guidance. It's coming from above. That's why animals always seem to do the right thing. Okay, they go to the right place at the right time. Unless they're a cow and they find themselves at the slaughterhouse, but they really had no control over that. Well, maybe it's debatable, but the point I'm trying to make is that your intuition is flawless. It is always going to give you the right information, but it's just a matter of listening to it. It's a matter of recognizing it when it happens, and then putting it into effect, right? Taking action on it. And I think there needs to be more of that, Libra friends. So I would recommend a daily meditation practice. It only has to be 10 minutes a day. And as you get more comfortable, you'll want to meditate more each day. And the more you get into contact with your guides, the more you experience the higher realms. It's almost like a drug. It's addicting. It's like, oh my goodness, I have access to all the information in all the universe. All I have to do is apply myself. But, meditation is not the only way. There's so many different ways that you can connect to your higher realms, connect to your higher self. Spending time in nature is a way. Being creative, being with people who raise your vibration. These are all ways that you're going to help to get into contact with your intuition. So my advice here is to listen to your intuition a little bit more if you can. And like I said, the best way I know is through meditation. So now that we see these cards as a whole, Libra friends, I do see your ego mind influencing you to too much of a degree. I think it's stopping you from realizing your power because it doesn't want you to take on too much fault or responsibility for maybe the bad things that have happened, right? If you look at your life right now and it's not exactly what you want, it's a lot easier to blame the outside world than it is to blame yourself. And your ego's trying to protect you from that. It's trying to protect you from that blame. But at some point, you're going to have to say, you know what? I created all of this. And if I can create all of this, I can create something else. And as far as the physical world, I do see some fatigue is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. Maybe your past failures have caused you to think that you're going to fail again in the future. And that is, oh no, that is terrible. Imagine if Bill Gates had quit after his 10th failure. You know, imagine if Einstein had quit after he failed patents or whatever. You know, you got to keep going. Okay, just because of failures, your failures are teaching you. They're building you up. They're helping you learn. So failures are good. And then as far as your soul, I think your soul wants you to talk to it more. It wants you to listen to it more. It wants you to connect with your intuition so that you have this divine guidance. You have this information readily available. And like the wolf, you can migrate to where the food is by just knowing where the food is. How does the wolf know? Sure, it uses its senses, but it's also trusting its gut. And its gut is telling him, go north-northeast to 4 miles and you'll find a caribou, right? And that's just its guides. It's showing him the way. Of course, there are elements of sight and sound and smell, but you got to put it all together, right? All right, Libra friends, that is the reading. I hope you guys got something out. I hope it wasn't too difficult to hear, and if it was difficult to hear, that means it probably resonates to some degree, which is a good thing. It means we're headed towards healing, and that's always a good thing. So I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for being brave enough to listen to this reading, and hopefully it resonated with you. So thank you for watching. Oh, be sure to do all the YouTube stuff. Please like this video if you got something out of it. Share, subscribe, all those things. Put a comment in the comment section. I love to hear your comments. So, and also, if you want to book a personal reading with me, head on over to my website, lightofriga.com. All right, that's going to be it. Thank you, Libra friends. I wish you a great October. Love and light to you all. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy taroting. Peace.